Do you want to instantly sound like you're in a professional studio, even with bad lighting, background noise, or a messy room behind you? Let me show you how Nvidia Broadcast can transform your content with just a few clicks. Hey there, if you're new to the channel, my name is Bogdan and my goal is simple, to help you use AI and technology to save time, cut costs and be more efficient. In today's video, I'm diving into Nvidia Broadcast, the free AI-powered app that levels up your recordings, live streams and video calls. Whether you are using Microsoft Teams, Zoom, OBS or Discord, this tool has something for you. And yes, I'm going to walk you through everything step by step from setup to pro tips. First, we're going to look at system requirements, then we're going to look at downloading and installing the app, next we're going to look at audio effects, then we're going to look at video effects, and lastly we're going to look at how Nvidia Broadcast interacts with other apps such as Microsoft Teams, Zoom and more. First, we'll need to make sure that our PC can run Nvidia Broadcast. To do so, we'll need to go to Nvidia Broadcast website and you can find the link in the description below. Once we're on the website, we can go ahead and click on System Requirements and this will display the system requirements we need in order to install the app. We'll need a GPU that's 20 series or higher, then we need at least 8 GB of RAM. For CPU, we need either an Intel i5 8600 or higher or an AMD Ryzen R5 2600 or higher. And for the driver, we need the latest Nvidia driver. You might not have the latest drivers or you don't know if you have the latest driver, and that is perfectly fine because I'm going to go ahead and show you how to check if you have the latest drivers. In order to check if you have the latest drivers, you want to go ahead and just search for the Nvidia app on your machine, and we're going to just open up the Nvidia app. Here we want to go ahead and click on drivers. And here at the top, it will show you if you have the latest driver or if you need to update your driver. As you can see here in my scenario, it says I have an update available. And it says here it's the new GeForce Game Ready driver with the latest version. And this was released on Tuesday, March the 18th, 2025. Once we confirm that our system is compatible, it's time for us to go ahead and download the app. And we can do that by clicking the Download Now button. Once the app is downloaded, go to your downloads and run the installer. When installing the app, we need to go through the licensing agreement. Once we are done reading, we can go ahead and just click Agree and Continue. For this installation, I'm just going to go ahead and use the Express installation. Once the Nvidia Broadcast app is installed on our machine, we can go ahead and open it up. When we launch the app, we can see some tips here. And on the left-hand side, we can see 3 panels: audio, video, and settings. First, let's talk about audio. This is where Nvidia Broadcast shines. It uses AI to clean up your sound in real time. And this has 2 parts to it, the microphone effects and the speaker effects. First, I'm going to go ahead and expand the app to be easier to use. In the audio tab, first we need to select the microphone that we want to use. In this scenario, I'm just going to go ahead and use the default one. And then for the microphone effects, we have 3 different options. The first one is the noise removal, which reduces the background noise. So in order to use the noise removal, what you need to do is you can turn it on and then you can also click here on the drop down and then you can play around with the strength of it. So I went ahead and I created a test recording to show the input and the output audio cleaned up by Nvidia Broadcast, and for the test I used a hairdryer. So let's go ahead and listen to our test. First I'm going to go ahead and play the raw version where you can actually hear the hairdryer. Then I'm going to go ahead and play the output audio which will be cleaned up by Nvidia Broadcast. For this test, I'm using a hairdryer to create the background noise. And now let's listen to the cleaned up version of the audio. For this test, I'm using a hairdryer to create the background noise. So as we can see here, Nvidia Broadcast cleans the sound very nicely, where you could not hear the hairdryer in the background at all, even though it was very close to my mic. It was literally just under the mic when I created that test. The next microphone effect we have here is the room echo removal. And what we can do here is we can go ahead, turn it on, and then we can click on the drop down here to just adjust the strength of the effect. And this effect is great when you have a lot of echo in the room and it's worth to try it. And the last microphone effect we have here is the studio voice. This enhances the quality of your mic to stimulate a high-end recording studio. The thing with this is, first of all, it's in beta. Second of all, it requires high-end GPU and is not recommended to use with games or GPU-intensive apps. One last thing I want to show you here is when we go ahead and turn on the studio voice effect, we're going to be asked, do you want to proceed? So what happens here is enable studio voice will disable the following: noise removal and room echo removal. So essentially, if we want to use the studio voice, we'll need to turn off the other effects. So we can just click here, don't show again, and then we can just go ahead and proceed. The second part of the audio panel is the speaker effects. And here we have 2 different effects. The first one is noise removal, which reduces the background noise on audio played on speakers. And let me just demonstrate this using the test that we have here on the right hand side. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead, play it for a couple of seconds. You're gonna hear the aircon, and once you turn on the noise removal effect, you shouldn't be able to hear the aircon anymore. So let's go ahead and do a quick test.
Hi there. This is a test message with air conditioning in the background. Normally, it'd be difficult to carry a conversation with someone as a result of this background noise, but with Nvidia's AI-powered noise removal, distracting sounds can be removed so you and your audience can hear loud and clear. You can test this feature by turning it on and off in the menu.
I hope you're able to hear the difference when I had the noise removal turned on and turned off. And the last one is the room echo removal. This reduces the reverb sound on audio played on speakers. To sum it up, noise removal, it's great to remove background sounds like dogs barking, typing, or even fans. And the room echo removal, it's great if you're recording in a room with no acoustic treatment, as this cleans up echo like magic. Now for video, this is where things get really cool. Even if you don't have a green screen or studio lights, you can still look professional. To get to the video effects, what we want to do here is go ahead and click on the video panel on the left hand side here. And then first thing we need to do is select our camera. So in my scenario here, I have two different options, but for this scenario, I'm going to go ahead and just use the Sony ZV-E10 camera. Next, we want to focus on the camera preview here. And to turn this on, what we need to do is to click on the eye icon here or here. Once you click on it, it will turn on the camera. So because I recorded this video with the same camera, give me a second just to switch over. Now I can go ahead and enable the preview. And then we have a few other settings here on the left hand side. So the first one is flip preview, which allows us to flip the camera. Then we have split screen, which is a nice feature because it allows you to see how the camera looks with the effects on and off. Then we have save snapshot. So if you want to take a snapshot of it, we can just take a snapshot of it. Anyway, let's go ahead and go through the different video effects we have. So first one is the virtual background. So this actually allows to blur, remove, or replace your background. And let me just click on the drop down here to show the different options. So first, let's go ahead and just start with the blur. So we're going to turn it on. And the blur is selected here. We can see the strength of the blur here, playing around with it. Then what we can do here is instead of having the blur effect, we can go ahead and just click replace. So if we click replace here, as you can see, we can add different images. We have an image here by default, but it allows us to customize and personalize the webcam background, right? So we can go ahead and add different images. Then the third option that we have here, it's remove, and this allows us to remove the background and replace it with a transparent frame. So let's go ahead and try this one. So I click remove, and now you can see that there's no background. Next, let's move to auto frame. This keeps camera zoomed and centered on you while you move. First, let me click on the drop down here just to show you the adjustments, right? So we have the zoom in and out that we can use. Again, you won't see a difference until I turn it on. So let's go ahead and turn it on. Now it's turned on. We can zoom as much as possible. That's a bit weird on my face, but anyway, or zoom out, right? Now what happens is if I move to the left, you can see the camera is trying to move after me. Because I'm zoomed out all the way, it can't really do much movement, but as soon as it starts zooming in, you can see the camera, the zoom in moves towards my face, right? So if I move on one side, the camera should follow my face, and then if I move to the other side as well, the camera should just try and follow my face. The next effect we have here is the video noise removal. This is still in beta, but this allows to reduce the video noise typically found in low light situations. In my scenario, I have a good light here, so this effect won't make much of a difference. But anyway, for the environments where there's low light, this is a great effect to use. The next effect I want to look at is the eye contact. This redirects your gaze towards the camera. So let's just turn on the effect and see how it looks. In the first version, this actually looked bare, but for this version, you can see that my eyes are actually slightly more green when I turn it on than brown. And we can see that it tries to redirect my gaze towards the camera, but it makes my eyes look unnatural, and we can see that it's AI generated. This is a great filter if you need to read the script. However, my eye color is actually slightly affected because of the light that I'm using here. If you have blue eyes or green eyes, this effect is still very good. But for me, as you can see, especially with the light that I'm using, it's actually struggling to generate my eyes properly. And what I'm going to actually do here is, let me just try and adjust my light and see if there's a difference in terms of how my eyes look. As you can see, if I reduce the light here, it doesn't look as bad as it did before. Now, I know it still looks bad, right? It doesn't look that realistic. This is still a nice effect, and hopefully they'll work on it. And down the line, this could be a great effect when you need to read the script. It just makes you look like you are actually looking at the camera instead of reading a script. And I'm going to just adjust my light again. The next effect we have here, it darkens the corners of the frame. And we can click on the drop down here to make any adjustments. So first, we can tick the box here that turns on the face tracking, and then we can also adjust the strength of it. Let's go ahead and turn the effect on just to see the difference. Let's go ahead and just bring this to full strength. And we can see the difference in the corners here. They are more dark. And then we can go ahead and just reduce the strength of the effect and see how it looks. And then for the face tracking, let me just put it back to max strength. It tracks my face, so it knows based on my face to keep the light, but everything else just darken it around it. And then we have here another beta effect, which is a virtual key light. This relights you as you had a virtual key light. Now, I'm not sure how powerful this is, so let's go ahead and try it together. So for this scenario, what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna turn off the light that I'm using. Now, without any other light, let's go ahead and just see how it works, right? So let's turn it on and then see what it does. This, it's still in beta, it doesn't look great. I have to be honest, it does not look great. Let me just try and change it to cooler, warmer. Maybe another test that I might be able to do here is to turn on a brighter light in the room, and that might actually help it. So let's see here. Now, I mean, this is still great. It looks brighter in the effect than here, but it still doesn't look that realistic, and you can see it's AI generated, right? One last test we can do here is let's just go ahead and just slightly turn on the brightness here to see how it looks. As soon as I turn on the light here, we can see that, okay, it's actually getting better, right? The more light it has, the better it works. And let me turn the top light to blue. No, actually, it's not that bad, look. It's still a long way until it's ready, but then again, it's still just in beta, so we can't really complain about it. So, these were all the different video effects that we can use with Nvidia Broadcast, and I have to say the background blur, remover and replacement is my favorite effect because it actually works great. Now I do want to say that I also like the eye contact effect, however it is still a long way until that's ready to use properly. As you can see, it still struggles with powerful light, and if you have brown eyes it's still tricky for it to get the eye color right. Now let's look at how you can use Nvidia Broadcast with your favorite apps. First, I'm going to give you a list of all the apps that are supported by Nvidia Broadcast, and then we're going to look at how to set it up for a couple of the apps. First, let's go through the list of apps that support Nvidia Broadcast. These are Discord, OBS Studio, Streamlabs, XSplit Broadcaster, WebEx, Zoom, Slack, Microsoft Teams, Skype, and Google Chrome. In this part, we're going to look at how Nvidia Broadcast interacts with other apps. So I'm going to show you how to get the effects that you configured in Nvidia Broadcast and bring them over to your favorite apps. To use any effects you configured in Nvidia Broadcast, what you want to do first is go to the Nvidia Broadcast website, which you have the link in the description below. Here we can go ahead and click on Setup Guide, and then we want to click on App Configuration here in the table of contents. Depending on which app you want to use, you can go ahead, just click on it, and it will bring you to a step-by-step guide. So in this scenario, what I'm going to actually focus on, I'm going to go ahead and just set this example up for OBS Studio. What I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to click here on Settings and go to Audio. I'm going to select the mic as the Nvidia Broadcast, and you can see even in the name of it, it says Nvidia Broadcast, so it's easy to find. Once I'm happy with that, I can just go ahead, click Apply, click OK, and this will then pick up the effects from Nvidia Broadcast for that mic. To use the Nvidia Broadcast effects for the video, what I need to do is I need to select the right camera. So, for example, I'm just going to take scene 1 here, which has a video capture device already. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to click on Settings. We can see that the device is the Sony ZV-E10. But what I want to do here is I want to bring over the effects from the Nvidia Broadcast for the video. So to do so, what I need to do here is I just click on the drop down, and then again for the camera, we can see that it says Nvidia Broadcast. We click on that, we click OK. We can see now that it brought the effects over, such as the blur that we configured in the Nvidia Broadcast app. As you can see, it's super simple. All you need to do is swap your input and output devices, and then Nvidia Broadcast will process everything in the background. And that's it. Nvidia Broadcast, it's a game changer for any creator, podcaster, or professional working from home. Let me know in the comments below which feature blew your mind, or if you have any questions, and I'll answer them. If you enjoyed this video, click over here to watch my video on 5 AI tools every content creator needs in 2025. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.